Hey, it's Elisa, the Half Asian Tarot Queen, and I'm here to do reading for the Ring of Fire solar eclipse in Cancer, which is, I'm feeling it's going to be really intense. Start with the mystical shaman, but I also want to remind you that for the month of June, I'm doing a giveaway of this Muse tarot deck. So I'm going to put a link to the video for how you can enter. It's super easy. And yeah, last month I gave away the star seed, which we'll have at the end. And that was pretty cool. I see her posting a lot about it. But I'm going to start with Mystical Shaman for the eclipse. It's going to... I can already kind of see the writing on the wall. I think this is going to be... There's going to be a lot of fireworks for this one. I'm feeling that. Oops. Okay, so we just had a bunch flop out. Okay, wow. Okay. So we got Thunder, the Crow, and Middle World. One sec. I forgot my moon decks. I'm going to grab them quick. Okay. So this is pretty crazy and pretty climactic, but so Thunder, so this card is kind of like a wake-up call. I mean, it's like a reality check, like it's like boom. And that comes right next to the Crow, which this is a card about the truth, and it's a card of like congruence between, you know, who you say you are and the truth, you know. So it's like when you're co-creating with the universe, it's like when you're in alignment with the universal truth, that's when you have the most power, you know. And when you're not, when you're out of alignment with it, you know, that can sometimes lead to like really harsh reality checks, you know. And you know, this is kind of how we learn about the universal laws. And you know, because we're always living and we're always checking against that, you know. But this is like a confrontation here. And then we have the middle world, which is kind of like the realm of like three-dimensional reality that we all live in. So this looks like a major wake-up call with the truth coming to a head for the solar eclipse, the Ring of Fire. Okay, sorry, that was a phone call, a wake-up call. So, yeah, I mean, this looks like some major fireworks, you know, set to go down for sure, you know, and it's like some truth is being revealed. And, you know, it's like if you're in alignment with the truth, then you're going to kind of like step into your power and it'll be good. Like exposing the truth will actually work in your favor. But if you're not, then this is going to be a really harsh wake-up call, you know. So, and it's interesting, I haven't noticed this before, but it's just like we have the Crow, you know, we have the truth, and then we have this middle world, which is sort of like, you know, the realm of three-dimensional reality. But I've never noticed this before, but there's all these, it looks like crows, you know. It's like the truth is coming to the three-dimensional bubble that we live in. And you know, it's like if you're not in alignment with that, like your bubble's gonna pop, you know, and it's gonna be harsh. So this looks like it's set to be a pretty dramatic eclipse. I'm going to Ethereal Visions to get some overall energies for the reading, but this is definitely in alignment with the reality that I'm experiencing for sure. I've been talking in the last several readings about, you know, I used to live in Minneapolis and I used to live in Seattle, and there was like all this stuff going down in both of those places, and I was really feeling that. And excuse me, excuse me. Well, ironically, like this weekend, the big thing that's going down is there's this big rally that's happening in Tulsa, which is where I am right now. And it's like I feel like I'm like in all the hot spots, you know. And, you know, people are worried about that being like a big super spreader for the virus, you know. So, you know, for sure I'm going to be staying way far away from that. But it's weird how I feel like I'm kind of like in all the hot spots. But at the bottom of the deck we have the Ace of Swords. So, again, this is like some truth being revealed. And we have, so under the Thunder card, we have the Five of Wands. And then we have the Page of Swords. And then we have the Four of Wands. So this is so cool how these fell out, you know. So it's like, this is a card of conflict. It's a card of like resistance, you know. And that came right out of this harsh wake-up call, you know, that's happening. It's like, this is going to lead to some drama, for sure. And then we have this message or truth or clarity falling out right under this crow, you know. So it's just like, yep, this message is coming through. It's going to cause some conflicts, but ultimately it's going to lead to this, you know, this is a card of stability and foundation, you know, like a marriage, family stability. It's going to lead to a new foundation sort of in the three-dimensional world, you know, and that kind of happens. It's just sort of like, you know, like with coronavirus, it's caused all this shakedown, and like all these, everything's had to adapt, you know, and like even these like long-standing institutions and things that seem super solid are like falling under the weight of what's going on in the world right now, you know, and there's like these, it's just like a wake-up call, and everyone's having to adapt, and it's like survival of the fittest, and it's like, who knows, like what's still going to be standing on the other side of this, you know. So I'm going to go to the Muse deck for some clarity, you know, and, you know, just reminding you again that that's the giveaway this month. So if you're interested, the artwork is really amazing on this deck, as hopefully you'll be getting to see some of that. And one lucky person is going to win the deck. So it's interesting because I've been getting a lot of entries from India, and from what I've heard, like it's really hard to get this deck over there, so that might be why we're getting a lot of entries. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we had a bunch flop out at the end, but I'm going to take them. And we had the Moon, which I feel like is pretty appropriate because it's the Ring of Fire solar eclipse. The Moon, the Lovers, and the Empress. So these are like the extra ones that flopped out. I love how these kind of like flow together. So it's like super watery, Cancer, Ring of Fire eclipse, you know, so like lots of emotions, and then this deep soulmate connection, and then there's the Empress, which is like this birth. So that's kind of a beautiful omen, you know. So this might be the birth, and it's like a new foundation. A birth of something very emotional and with a lot of depth. But I'm going to keep going with the cards and see what else comes out, because we got Strength, we got the Eight of Inspiration, and we got the Seven of Emotions. So this is interesting because this is like kind of speaking to like some message coming in, you know, and that's coming in right under this truth and this clarity. You know, we're going to need strength to face this opposition that's going to come out of this truth being revealed, and it's going to lead to a lot of emotions and a lot of confusion. But underneath all that is this new stability. And then on the next row we have the Five of Voices, which is interesting because that's the same as like the Five of Wands, and that fell on top of this other Five of Wands. So it's like a lot of conflict and drama is going to happen out of this, you know. It's going to take a lot of strength to walk through this. And then we have the Page of Materials, which is kind of like love how there's these pink roses here, you know. But this is sort of like a tangible new start in something. And then we have the Knight of Materials. So it's just like there's this tangible new start, you know. There's this message of truth that's leading to some new path that's opening up. And then we have the Knight of Materials, which is kind of like moving in that direction. And the Knight, you know, this talks about movement, but this Knight is kind of like this most solid Knight in the deck, because he's not like the fly-by-night, like player Knight, you know, like the other, he's not rash. Like this Knight is kind of slow moving, but he's like builds things that will last. So it's like, even though there's all this drama that's surrounding whatever this truth is that's coming out, it's actually leading to something solid and tangible. So that's interesting. And this kind of speaks to, you know, relationships as well. I'm going to pull 3 more from Ethereal Visions to see some guidance about how we might move through this moment. But it looks set to be like a really climactic moment in time, for sure. It's like this moment where we're going to look back and it's going to be like a big turning point. Oh my gosh. Emotions. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Pentacles on the bottom. So this is the rock solid queen, you know. And then we have the Magician. We have the Nine of Swords. And we have the Queen of Wands. So this is interesting because we have the Queen of Pentacles and we have the Queen of Wands. And this Queen of Wands can sometimes signify like the other woman. But she's like a really solid manifester. Like she can channel her emotions into the 3-dimensional world and, you know, make an impact or make something happen. And it's really interesting because she fell right on top of this 3-dimensional reality card, you know, in this new foundation. So it's like this Queen of Wands, she's building something to last, and it's causing a lot of confusion and a lot of emotions, but she's manifesting something. And we have also another card of manifestation, the Magician, which fell on top of this wake-up call. So it's like this wake-up call, this harsh wake-up call's happening, and we're going to have strength to move through it, but it's actually a good thing because we're like manifesting some sort of like long-needed change. And then we have the Nine of Swords, which this is a card of fear and anxiety. And this is interesting because this fell on top of this message of truth, you know, that's coming through and causing this new beginning. So it's just like this new beginning is happening, but like it just kind of just depends on which side of the truth you fall on. Like I was saying at the beginning, like if you're in alignment with the truth, no worries. Like things are gonna move forward in a good way, you know, like you've kind of been waiting for this to happen. But like if you're not on a solid foundation and you haven't lined yourself up with the truth, then this is gonna be like a really harsh moment, you know. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles, which this is like a rock solid, you know, she's on stable ground. She's like a nurturing, loving, she's like financially stable, you know, like you want her on your side. And so she's kind of like underneath all of this. So it's just like we're manifesting something solid here despite all the drama. Like this is like a solid new beginning if you're in alignment with the truth. Otherwise, it's still going to be a more solid beginning, because if you're not in alignment with the truth and you're not on a solid foundation, well, you know, that's going to need to get knocked down so that you can rebuild on something a little more solid. Okay, so I'm going to go to my 2 moon decks here to pull some final cards for this moment. But this is like looking like a new foundation relationally. Like it could be like family structures that are being impacted. I mean, because we've got the moon, the empress, and the lovers, you know, so like these deep connections that are being impacted, and there's going to be a lot of emotions that are going to come out. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we got, I'm taking 3. So on the bottom we have it's time to take action, the new moon in Aries. We've got communication is key, and surrender to the divine. So yes, big watery changes coming up. You got to communicate clearly. Things are changing. But if you're in alignment with the truth, it's all going to be good. If not, like, you need to get on the bus, because it's going forward whether you like it or not. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Queen of the Moon Oracle to pick the final. Whoops. Okay. So, all right. So we got the unexpected. So it looks like it's going to be wild, and we got hunger, you know. So there's like emotions maybe that have been repressed for a long time, and they're about to like blow up, and something unexpected is happening. So it looks like it's going to be a wild ride. Let me know how it goes. I hope it goes all right. Yeah, it's like I almost want to go back and look at the last Ring of Fire solar eclipse, because they're always like real big hot spots, you know. But just remember, we're building, you know, there's a lot of emotions, and like this is fueling this new beginning, you know. And keep it positive, and good luck with the transition. We'll see you soon.